Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, based on wherever you are listening to this video. My name is Macharia. Faranese people call me Mac, and I run a growth agency named as Lemonscape Growth. Lemonscape means infinite. And we help our clients. Few are bootstrapped, some are funded, well funded, and some are solopreneurs. Uh, and we help them to achieve their revenue goals through lead generation, enterprise sales, and conversion rate optimization, which is like the top three problems you need to solve for attaining a great revenue to your organization or business. Today, I'm going to speak about how Snowflake's implementation or consulting partners and also system integrators who are working on Snowflakes alongside, Databricks and everything, can add up to $10 million revenue in next 16 to 18 months. I'm again speaking, it's about revenue, not just the leads I'm speaking about. And I also did a math, which is available on the next couple of slides, which I'm going to through this. Now, one caution, this is not another 30,000 feet view. I'm saying that, these are the 5 steps, like you should be consistent. You should be, you should be using social media. I'm not going to give you bulleted points. This is a well-researched presentation. This not only came from the research, but also what we are doing day in, day out for our clients, in which we are helping cumulatively more than 15 million, 15 million for our clients cumulatively to generate almost $15 million of lead generation. And if you were able to use this correctly, considering this as a checklist and start using it accordingly, this would act as a blueprint for this $10 million revenue. Now, while I covered the basics of it in the interest of the time, and there are more deeper videos available. For example, we did a 8 to 9 level series of, how you can achieve a $10 million revenue, but it's in a more deeper sense. For example, in this, I covered something like saying that, you need to have prospect list building, like, you need to build a list of prospects, their email IDs, phone numbers, and everything. I might have told that. I told that, in fact, in this video. And you may think like, well, I know this now. How should I do it? So that 8 series will help you in doing how to do it. Now, again, there is a question. Um, this is not a clickbait, honestly. All the videos, the 8 videos, you will get it for absolutely free, no questions asked. All you have to do is reply back me saying that, you know what, I need to have the 8 video series and I wanted to learn more, or I wanted to know more how I can actually progress out of this. So I will be able to do that. Like, but I just don't want to bombard with more emails. That's the reason I'm just keeping it very significant, relevant to Snowflakes and for you. But in case if you want a deeper analysis, I'll be able to do it. And the 8 series also has templates. For example, how to define target audience is one of the things I covered. But that defining target audience, I have close to 16 level questionnaire, a template in Excel, in an online form, which I can give it to you in the 8 series if you would like to know more about it. So please reach out to me on this email and let me know, you know what, Mac, I'm interested to get this 8 level video series of how to get 10 million revenue. While this is very specific to Snowflakes and the list of tasks, that would be more deeper in sense. As you know, every task will have details which you should know. Consider you are I'm sure you are at a stage of your revenue goals and everything, but this was more into it for beginners, a technology entrepreneur who started for the very first time, and they wanted to do something. This is more or less as a self-help guide. While the video is very specific to Snowflake ecosystems, and there are a lot of learnings which we added to this video, both from our Snowflakes and non-Snowflakes customers, like people who are working as an implementation partner for Snowflakes and Snowflakes clients. And obviously, we're also serving people who are doing in ServiceNow Splunk also. So it's a combination of how we were actually, are able to get this 10, 15 million kind of a revenue. So it's a key learnings we have, and we had it this year. This is not like a speculation, or else, um, uh, it's not like, people who doesn't understand, they just learn something and keep it. No, we did this. We are doing it this from last couple of years, and, we know how to get this. And we're consistently at a revenue mark of, generating 10 to 15 million every year for our clients. So I think it kind of helps it that way. Now, the questions is like, who should watch this video? So the first set of people is anyone who is in Snowflake ecosystem, especially who are into consulting, implementation, migration. This is very relevant for you. And second set of people or again, it's a conjunction which you can look at. Companies who are in a revenue of 500,000 to 10 million. This is more for those people. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not relevant to people who are making more than 10 million revenue. But as you know, scaling from a 10 million ARR to 100 million ARR is a whole different ball game, right? Many things comes into picture. For example, you should lean towards getting Gartner analyst briefing, Forrester analyst briefing, and sponsoring certain or building certain events, bigger events. And you need to bring in a lot of capabilities, center of excellence, all these things, right? But what we covered in this is for people, as I told you, 500,000 to 10 million. Why? Because the intention of this presentation or video is to get more companies who are into building and traction phase. So this will be probably high efforts when it comes to be adding a lot of value from a person perspective, but it is a costless, very, very minimal cost. In fact, I just added ads as one segment, that too for people who are scaling from 5 million to 10 million. For anyone less than 5 million, I never suggest ads also. You don't have to spend much. So our core USP and the reason why we have a lot of client retention is we consider all the clients has to be very cost cautious. So we don't ask them to spend hefty on ads and everything. Yes, when you're scaling from 5 million to 10 million, you need to go to ads, else you will not be able to acquire. Why? Because basing on the decision cycle or the sales cycle and the volume of the sales, uh, there would be multiple people who are coming into picture and the sales cycle goes larger than expected. So it's evident we need to go on ads perspective to touch base multiple people who are into the decision making and decision influencing kind of a segment. Uh, but yeah, this list is a mandatory. I'm sure I can tell you this is a mandatory and non-negotiable task list for people who are building, 500,000 to in fact, 250,000 to anywhere between 250,000 to 5 million. This is a building list, right? And this is definitely non-negotiable when it comes to doing it. And this is also relevant to people who are not in Snowflake's ecosystem, but probably they are into system integrator, like multiple tech stacks, using Databricks, Splunk, GCP. This is valid up to 60%, but rest of the 40%, we came with an understanding about Snowflakes and everything. Now, quickly, I will set the agenda also just to, interest of the time. So this is going to be, I'm intended to start and, close this in anything between 35 to 45 minutes, as it's a combination of analysis, which came internally from our clients. And we also keep on looking at, you know, uh, companies who are doing really well, and we keep on decoding what is that marketing effort looks like, what is their sales effort looks like, what they're spending more on, or what they're betting more on. So we make a list of all these top companies, not in the top companies in the saying that $1 billion, $2 billion revenue companies. I'm looking at still companies who started at the bootstrap level and going anything between 30 million as a revenue. So that's the bracket we look at. And services company, as you know, uh, are not so fundable given the scalable option. So right now, this understanding came from a services perspective, not on a product perspective. Like they are services who are trying to sell to clients, and that's how it is. It's not a product orientation what we looked at. So it's going to be combination of both, and I'll also give you a sneak peek of Snowflake's client base, some interesting segmentation Snowflake is doing, decoding the growth of some medium level companies, which is like anything between 5 to 30 million. And I'll also give you a reason why I'm actually choosing those people. And companies who are predominantly working on Snowflake's as their hero services. And task list. In the task list, you will find three different sets of it. One is build phase, which is the foundational phase, which is like anything between 250,000 to 5 million revenue, and 5 million to 10 million revenue is building traction. That's the main agenda. There is one more slide which is of scaling, which is 110 million plus. And I also covered a little bit to give you what you have to do differently when you start scaling stuff, right? Now, let me just take you, I think you know it better than I do in this on the Snowflake's part. People are increasingly choosing Snowflake as their preferred cloud data platform due to its unparalleled versatility, scalability, and efficiency in managing and analyzing vast amounts of data. And Snowflake's unique architecture built from the ground up for the cloud allows users to seamlessly store and query data across multiple cloud providers, eliminating the need of complex data silos and promoting a truly multi-cloud environment. Now, Snowflake's growth is fueled by its commitment to innovation and continuous improvement. The platform regularly introduced new features. Even I see it 2 3 days back, and enhancements staying ahead of industry trends and evolving user requirements. Additionally, Snowflake's pay-as-you-go model provides cost flexibility, allowing organizations to scale their uses based on actual needs and reducing unnecessary expenses. Now, if you see this graph very, what happens with this is, for example, what you kind of look at is the total customers are 29. There is a 29% growth on customers right now, and yep. If you look at the total customers, there is a 29% year-on-year growth. While this number is 8167, I think the number is a little different. I'm not sure if Snowflake's excluded certain NGOs and trusts and other people. Why? Because as far as I know, the accounts list is somewhere at 9,467. So they might have excluded close to what, 1,000+ accounts, it looks like. But the actual number is 9,437. And people who are spending more than $1 million are 373 on Snowflakes. Now, think of if you can reach out to those people as a target audience. Now, certain things which just reading between the lines is um, Snowflakes has close to 691 Forbes Global 2000 customers. And now companies can actually leverage Snowflake on Snowflakes. This was recently started by the chief digital officer, if I'm not wrong. They started a couple of years back, not even recent, but it was not so much popular. Which means, for example, you're building something on Snowflake to your client or anyone, and let's say you built a metrics or else you built a framework which acts as a solution itself, and you still have the IP for it, not your customer owning it. You can reach out to Snowflakes. Why? Because Snowflakes started saying that, Snowflakes has to be their customer first. So in order to go somewhere, you need to use Snowflakes. So now you can also consider Snowflakes as your client in case if you have an interesting solution out there. Q2 24, 402 customers contributing over $1 million in the product revenue. Previous one is 397, if I'm not wrong, but it's like 402 right now. And at the same time, the firm is having 9,437 customers. And 81% of the Snowflake's revenue comes from the Americas, both North America and South America together. 15% in EMEA, and which is like Europe and Middle East, and 4% from APAC, APJ, Asia Pacific and Japan. It makes easy for us to actually go through on the Americas side very easily. You can start working on it. Given the decision-making capabilities and, affordability capabilities, can say. Now, moving on, I wanted to start with an analysis of a firm called as Analytics8. Now, why I'm choosing it, I'll tell you why. There is also the key takeaway section of the companies we are actually comparing or analyzing. So one thing which I really liked about Analytics8 is, they recently went across a rebranding exercise. Analytics8 used to be a different company altogether. They went to a rebranding exercise, and you know what? Alexa is a website rank based on how popular your website is. Anything less than 100K is like you're top notch, and you are the world's best websites ever. And you'll not believe that, but Analytics8 used to be more than 2 million, 2.2 million, less than 6 months back. So as I told you, we keep on analyzing these companies to look at, how they're growing on. Once they did the rebranding exercise, right, they fell down 1.8 million ranks, which is a good number. They are less than a million. Earlier, there used to be more than 2 million in the ranks. So the lower the rank, the better it is. And the brilliant stat which I liked it is, they get 60% of the traffic organically, which is like people typing a keyword, for example, now you can go and look at best Snowflake's partner or preferred Snowflake partner. They will be definitely on the page one, Google page one, which is a very good feat to achieve. They have, average 60,000 people coming onto their website. Last month it was bad. February, when I looked at it, was kind of fell down. Close to 7,000, 8,000 people fell down. But if you look at the last 3 months average, it's always at a 60,000 people visits. And more interestingly, 25% of the people come from USA. Could be the target audience. Of course, they have their headquarters there, and it could also be that reason. And one of the lead magnet they started using on their website is data strategy session. Like you will get a free data strategy session. So interestingly, what we looked at when I dig deeper and I started speaking with certain stakeholders, what I understood is they have framework in assessing any company, right? For example, you went out and, booked a data strategy session. What they do is they ask you questions and, they would take everything and they will be able to say that this is where you can increase your productivity, you can reduce the human capabilities, you can optimize cost. They will be able to tell you that, which is they're promising the return of investment in the first step itself, right? So it's an important metrics for all the companies, right? If you go to an enterprise and say, what, I can give you the return of investment in 6 months, everything you're spending me on, I could able to save your costs, which is in turn, you're saving those costs and you're just giving it to me. Like, let's consider there is a three years engagement, and in first 6 months only, you're paying me everything. My cost is equal to your 6 months saving, which is a brilliant way, because the next 2.5 years runway is like they're adding revenue for using your services. So it's kind of very interesting for Analytics8. And as I told you, the first result is Snowflake's consulting companies in USA, Analytics8. What a brilliant strategy. And Analytics8 doesn't only just start with what we call the Snowflakes. They also do Databricks. I mean, they probably are in 7-8 technologies as a system integrator. And I really like the way they segmented stuff. For example, they started a UK website specifically for having a GDPR compliance issues. As you know, in case if you wanted to go to EMEA or UK, because 15% of Snowflake's people are also there, giving you a larger set of people. 15% is not so less to ignore, right? Even still, APG is kind of 4% is fine. Like, but EMEA is a very good market after Americas, and they don't want you to leave that stuff too. Given EMEA is more about automobile manufacturing, and second comes to be retail stores, large retail stores, and sporting clubs, and everything is there, right? So what they did is, when GDPR compliance is not there on your website, right, you need to create something called as double opt-in as default. For example, there is a California rule on the data privacy, like you cannot send an unsolicited email or a cold email to people in California. They can actually sue you. Like, they can actually send you a notice saying that, if an individual is receiving, they can actually claim up to $700 from you. If an organization, multiple people in the organization is receiving, they will actually be able to sue you for $5,000. In the EMEA, GDPR is mandatory, right? So they did a brilliant stuff. Like, they did analytics8.com for all the Americas and rest of the world, where double opt-in is not required. Double opt-in is a criteria where you say that if I want it to be a part of your newsletter, right? Then another email goes from your email provider, but whether it can be MailChimp or Zoho or any CRM per se. It sends an email to, which lands most of the times in spam for EMEA region, saying that, do you want to really opt in for this newsletter? So it asks you twice to actually confirm your email ID. And US is not so stringent on these things, at least, which kind of facilitate a lot for companies, businesses operating in US. So to avoid that, I mean, if they don't have the GDPR in EMEA, so people tend not to go there. So they lose a huge chunk of it. So they created two different websites, analytics8.com, analytics8.uk, to have GDPR compliance on UK site. Their Gartner vendor briefing is brilliant. They keep on submitting their vendor briefing to Gartner with an understanding. Gartner vendor briefing is really tricky. Why? Because they would be interested in getting into products which can add a lot of innovation, and they look at leaders in a segment. And services companies are a little tough to crack, but they did a brilliant hack on submitting Gartner vendor briefing, creating something in Gartner. So they have their presence in Gartner to give a confidence to enterprises. As you know, most of the enterprises rely on, these kind of management consulting, or else, research firms like IDC, Forrester, Gartner, McKinsey, AT&T, ZS, all these companies. So it kind of creates a validation. And Analytics8 actually acquired a company called as Mashing. It's a brilliant hack. Why? Because, if they wanted to add capabilities of advanced analytics while they're doing stuff, and when they came across, probably they might have came across an upselling criteria where they sold a client real-time data analytics or something which they might not have the capabilities to bring in. What they did is they kept a small token and, acquired a company, Mashing, which they can also now integrate with Analytics8 and offer it as a vertical to other clients, which is a brilliant move. And Analytics8 already got acquired by Accenture back in 2019, but it still operates like a standalone firm. The one thing which is really, why Analytics8 is brilliant in the content marketing strategies, like they start enlightening people. They never push saying that we are great in Snowflake. No, that's not what it did. They took a vertical. Why? Because they are a system integrator. They work in Databricks, Snowflakes, and everything, right? What they did is they took vertical, something like uh, uh, data governance, for example, as an example, or else data warehouse or real-time data analytics kind of a segment, and they start building brilliant thought leadership pieces. And One of the blog which is very famous for them is their vice president of consulting. His name is Mr. Lobo, if I got the name right. He did a BI comparison in such a way that it was quite famous. Like the way he did the framework of BI comparison is amazing. And he started decoding stuff. His newsletters are famous. They started recently, to be honest, on the newsletter stuff. And they do something called as data dialects, which is very quite famous. And most of the people I see, at least a couple of people whom I speak, start saying that, let's focus on revenue, let's focus on revenue. But they focused on, so this organization specifically created something like you need to focus on your customers, your target audience, and revenue will follow. If you start following revenue, right, saying that we need to end up revenue, you may achieve your ARR, MRR, but you will not be having a linear or a cumulative growth as you think of. Your graph may go for strike for 2-3 months and then it falls off. Why? Because you are busy just serving one client or couple of clients, right? So you need to build the thought leaderships first, so people eventually comes back to you, and they succeeded in this. Their data dialogues, they do at least 2 a month. These people come onto the call, speak with them, look at their YouTube channel, like a brilliant pieces of information, like people gets enlightened. And they're one of the best part. Analytics8 CEO, while speaking about the DNA of their company, he told either everyone is speaking as a dev shop, like we do snowflaking and everything, or everyone's speaking a business language. No one is speaking a technology plus business language. For example, your target audience is a CTO. If you go and tell him like what, we will do Kafka, we do all these things, we will be able to integrate Kafka with so and so, so and so, so and so, it might go overhead for them. Why? Because you're not speaking the language they're going to speak. But you cannot go to a lower level person in the designation side and tell them like we do all these things. He understands it, but he will not be able to take a financial decision for you. So they came up with a process. Everything they do, everything they write, every word they speak, it has to be 50% technology, 50% business, bridging both the things. That's a standard thumb rule which the CEO kept when he started this company, Analytics8. So if you are going to speak with CTO and, going to tell them like, with real-time analytics, we use Kafka and we'll be able to reduce at least 25% of your cloud cost, it makes sense to them. And you need to prove it. But if you are saying that, I'll bring real-time data analytics, I'll also do GPT-4 and everything, it's too much technology for them. And if you say like, we'll use technology to build all these things, it also doesn't work, right? You need to give some details. So they were able to find that balance between technology and business. And as I told, they are end-to-end cycle helping. So they do solve problems on, for example, data governance. What does it take? Snowflakes up to level, they will do it. Databricks, they will do it. So they combine the problem. I mean, they build a solution based on multiple technologies, stitching it together, multiple offerings, stitching it together. So they solve data governance. They do cloud management. They reduce cloud costs. How do they do it? Technology is a key driver, but they are not trying to sell technology. They are trying to sell a solution, which is a very good approach. I mean, I looked at their case studies. I was deeply researching. I also spoke with their clients to understand, how their approach would be and everything. They have only 6 focus industries. They don't want to do everything in the world. 6 industries. And to my surprise, out of the 6 industries, um, they generally rely on associations a lot for their revenue. Associations and healthcare is something which they have major clients on, right? And in their about a session, I came across something called as they have 800 clients as the client. I'm still not sure 800 is the right number. For example, even if 800 people, let's say 25,000 is what they're, or else 800 clients is like, they serve and they lose the client. They don't have a support package or something like that. So we still need to decode that, but I still added as a number, which I found on their website. Revenue is 18.9 million. The reason why Analytics8 is a part of this analysis is currently their revenue is at 20 million odd. Okay. After acquiring Measure, it's a different thing. Measure is also revenue positive, but I'm still speaking about Analytics8. 91 employees, each making 208K per employee. Is not a small feat to achieve. I mean, if you're a smaller company, it's okay. If you're a 100 employees company and you're still touching somewhere at 210K per employee, it's a brilliant hack. You got acquired by Accenture, you acquired another company, and you're still doing it in multiple technology. It's a great. Analytics8 will be down the line after 5 years. It will be 100 million ARR company for sure. That's something which I think is going to happen. Now, the next analysis which I did is, I wanted to do something on EMEA, UK. And this is another perspective. So all the analysis I did is, bringing in key takeaway. It's not like what Analytics8 is doing, something else is also doing. And, these are the key areas. Select did something differently. Very less website visits, less than 4,000 people coming onto the website. But they have only 3 industries focusing on: sports club, retail, leisure, and hospitality. They are 2020 born companies, is like three years odd company, 3 to 4 years odd company, and the revenue is at $6 million. If you look at it, 20 people team, and they operate majorly on UK. These are their clients. You see Comi, accountant, advisor, travel counselor. But now, what is a growth driver for them? Okay, is the personal branding of CEO. You need to look at the CEO profile, and he's a very, very thought leader in this industry. And I'll also, there are key takeaways in the next couple of slides. So I'll also tell you why is it important. And they have very specific target audience, markets, and offerings. They don't want it to do everything. They just wanted to do 3 services, 3 industries for now. That's how you need to grow. That's the build phase I'm speaking about. All right. I mean, limited industries, limited set of people to reach out to, limited services. Don't bombard your website with, I also build rockets, I also fly cars. No, keep it very specific. Like, I just do data, cloud, DevOps, 3 things. End of the story. And I only do it for now. These industries is my focus. Why? Because I solved certain use cases on them. Right. That's how it has to be. This subject matter expertise and industries they are targeting is very good when we speak about UK as a region, right? And they identified the right accounts. How they did that? Again, I will speak more on the next key takeaway slide.